He actually quote tweeted Woj's tweet about the Tyrese interview, and just kind of like how we went to break. It was like, shocking. Tyrese is asked about the Sacramento trade. I roll. It's exactly what we teased. And I felt the same way. Like, God, come on, we get it. Like, it sucked. We get it. But then, as you said, listening to this.
Yeah, it's a little different.
It's a little bit different. I think worth playing for y'all. Because we forget sometimes, Tyrese Haliburton didn't do anything wrong. He said he was upset at being traded from Sacramento. He didn't say the fans sucked.
No.
He didn't say he didn't like it here and thank God.
Quite the opposite.
You have a young man who's actually sad about leaving Sacramento because he wanted to do something here. I always felt like, listen, there were times where I was like, okay. But I think a lot of that, too, was us just as a fan base kind of protecting ourselves and wanting to ease the pain a little bit of it because it was tough. Now, Domas is great, but so is Haliburton. And he talks quite a bit here. We'll start with just the specific about the trade itself and where his thoughts are now almost a year later.
I think there's a lot of different emotions that go into it. I think when I got there, I embraced it right away. The fans embraced me back. It was awesome. Like starting my NBA careers there. I'm forever indebted to Sacramento. It was a great place, a great way for me to start my career. To be able to go there and play with De'Aaron and learn from him and see his habits and things like that. It was really good for me coming in as a young guard. Met some great people there. I thought that we had a chance. I think now looking at it, right, me and Fox both have a very good case to be an all-star this year. Two guys who shared the backcourt, especially my second year with me starting. But you see, we're probably better away from each other than we were together. We're both better on the ball. That's just how it is. At the time, I was angry. I was angry for a long time after that, mixed with some sadness, mixed with a ton of different emotions. Now looking back on it, it's the best thing of my career is, being able to move on. But also for them, they were able to get Sabonis, who really has fit well for them. They're playing really well. They look really good as a team. So people keep saying, it's a win-win trade, and maybe they're right. Yeah. I mean, that makes sense. We're both playing well. Indy and Sac are both playing well. But yeah, there's not necessarily hard feelings or anything there. I mean, obviously that's in the back of my head, right? Like when we went and played Sac, that game had a little more juice to it. I think for everybody in the arena, not just me, for them, for everybody in the crowd, there was just a lot of energy in that arena, and there's always energy in that arena. But it just felt like there was extra that game, and that's just how it's going to be. Me and the Kings are always going to be forever connected, and no matter what they do, no matter what I do, it's just always going to be that way.
I think it's a well thought out answer.
Absolutely. Not that there needs to be a right or a wrong in an answer, but what would you pick apart there? I think there's a lot of truth to that. I think it's how he felt the truth. It's how we observed it going, man, you like De'Aaron with the ball. You like Tyrese with the ball. I think they kind of chose Tyrese to be on the ball a little bit more and see if they can get the magic from De'Aaron. It just kind of didn't happen. And then they ultimately made the trade.
They made the trade. They, at this time last year, and by the way, it's my fault. I really want to not rehash because this has almost become the new Luka thing. But this time last year, all we were doing was screaming about how imbalanced this roster was. I don't know that you could have done any sort of a move bigger than that you took an imbalance of amazing future all-star, awesome point guards and split them up to bring in your biggest weakness, which was front court.
In retrospective balance, it had to be Fox or Haliburton, right?
Yes,
yeah.
and
there's nothing else.
Right. And again,
because Mitchell doesn't clean it up.
Mitchell does not.
Right.
And again, because it's still one of those things that I feel is not by most, but by some still a little misunderstood. And this isn't me commenting on Fox's play at all. In fact, maybe things would have changed now, but at the time, for those of you that are like, well, then you trade Fox. First off, I'm not sure that's the move. Secondly, it wasn't available. That was not on the table, and they had to do something. So Tyrese has had the opportunity to really play his emotions out on a world stage in real time And I think that is the best answer I think he's given, the one that at least I tip my hat to the most since he got traded. But it was a surprise for sure. And he spoke a little bit here about the Kings locker room before the trade deadline.
There was a lot of talks of Buddy getting traded from the day that I got there. And that relationship between Buddy and the Kings is what it is. But like you said, I think myself included, 99% of the organization, I think, believed that I wasn't going to get traded. But, it happened just for the best for everybody. And but, yeah, at the time, there was obviously a lot of backlash for the organization. And I was in a lot of feeling a lot of different type of ways. But, yeah, it's just, it is what it is now.
I think 99% is low. I think there's one guy, maybe two, with Wes. I think Monty and Wes might have been the only guys, and I don't even know that they thought. Who knows? I'd love to. Actually, next time we talk to Monty, I think that'd be a fun question to ask. When did you first start thinking of the possibility that you could trade Tyrese Haliburton last year? You knew there was an imbalance. When was when was it, and how did it initiate? I don't know if you'd answer that or not, but I'd be really curious to see if Indiana called them out of the blue and said, "Hey, we're looking at this kid. We're willing to give up Sabonis."
Right.
And that changed everything. Or if Monty said, "What do you think about this guy?"
Yeah. When you were saying that about imbalance, I've had this thought about Indiana, by the way, for a while. I don't think it's in their plan to do this. But Dave, at some point, if you look at their guards right now, Tyrese Haliburton, Buddy Hield, they love the rookie they drafted. Mathurin, but even Nembhard.
Nembhard, yeah, sorry.
They still have TJ McConnell, and they have Chris Duarte. So I'm not saying to trade Tyrese Haliburton by any means.
Sure.
But I look at it a little bit like, I don't think Lauri Markkanen is on his third team. And you go, why is he on his third team?
Yeah, right.
I don't know that Chicago wanted to deal him. Then he went to Cleveland. Then Cleveland's like, well, I don't think we want to deal him. Well, we're getting Donovan Mitchell.
Right.
We're going to deal him.
Sure.
I don't think the Kings wanted to deal Tyrese Haliburton, but you're getting Domantas Sabonis.
Yeah.
I don't know how many upgrades they could keep doing, and I'm not suggesting this is the move, but they got to clean some of that up to get some better front court players. And if, for example, it got you, I don't know, Kevin Durant.
Yeah,
you'd move someone of Tyrese's or whoever it is. I'm just throwing out a name. They need to fix that front court imbalance of the backcourt, which is good.
Yeah,
it's a lot of good players.
Sure,
they can get something for some of that.
It'd be an interesting move. They clean up their front court instantly. What do you think they say if Kings call and say, "We'll give you Sabonis for Haliburton"?
That would honestly be a funny question if the two GMs called again. Right. Like when they go, who says no? Like, but who reacts like stronger, going, "No way are we giving up Haliburton," or "No way are we giving up Sabonis"?
I think they both say no.
They both made the trade to agree to do it.
Right now, they both say no.
Yeah,
no, we're not touching.
We're
the whole
very
thing.
happy with Sabonis. We're very happy with Haliburton.
I think Indiana's got a nice young squad.
They do.
They've got some options there too.
Yeah, but at some point, someone elevates where you go, well, look here. Like Fox is the guy. You know what? This Haliburton kid's like, we all kind of started thinking, well, maybe you move De'Aaron. Not that you want to.
Never in my life did I think they were going to move Haliburton.
Yeah. And so if Mathurin, I mean, it's possible that Mathurin's the better guard. Now he's a 2, but is he the franchise piece? And you go, we don't really want to move.
Sure.
Or Mathurin. We don't really want to move him, but hey, to get Haliburton and this stud front court player, that's how teams get better. You have to make some of those tough decisions.
I mean, they got Nembhard in shooting guard, Mathurin coming. I don't know.
They got to do something with some of that. And now Buddy is going to be expiring, right? And
it's just really difficult for me to imagine that their backcourt of the future is Mathurin and Haliburton. No offense to Nembhard, but
right. But I guess you
were the Mathurin guy.
Yeah, the one game Nembhard started.
Yes.
Did he get like a triple-double or close to it?
Something crazy.
Now, again, Tyrese Haliburton has done it time and time again. It's an all-star this year, has been great. Or Mathurin looks like he's fast-tracking to be a great player.
Yeah.
It's just at some point, you got to make those tough decisions. And maybe just the backcourt is Haliburton and Mathurin, and that's the piece, and then they figure out the front court later. But they drafted Duarte. They have McConnell. Nembhard's there. Buddy. Good backcourt.
31-8-13 for Nembhard against the Golden State Warriors in that 112-104 win. Yeah, it was. Wow. All right, we got one more thing here real quick because I think we have a second. One last thing on Hallie, how he found out about the trade.
Like, got a call from my agent in the morning, said, I think you're getting traded, but I don't know. They're not being very good with their communication. I'm like, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. He hung up. He said, I'll call you back. So I called my girlfriend to the room. I said, we could get traded soon. The deadline was approaching. It wasn't, we were days from the deadline still, right?
Yes.
And so I told her we could get traded. Let's just keep that between me and you. We play the Timberwolves tonight. So, it is what it is. I don't know. And then I called George Niang, who obviously I'm very close to. But the Ben rumors were swirling that whole year, whether it was Ben for Fox, Ben for me, whatever it was going to be. So I'm calling George like, is it you guys? And he was like, no, I ain't heard nothing. And so when he said that, I'm like, what? What's going on? I called from my agent right after. I hung up on him to answer my agent to tell me that it's Indiana. And then I hang up on him to answer Monty so he can tell me. I call my agent back. So it was a very short period of time. A lot of different emotions, a lot of different thoughts coming into my head. But yeah, it definitely was a very crazy day.
Can't imagine that. Just can't.
Ben Simmons.